15 German brands you pronounce wrong. So Feli from Germany is going to help me understand how to pronounce these German names correctly, which I think in the thumbnail I saw Adidas, maybe like Volkswagen.
What did he say?
Maybe like Volkswagen. Already, I'm doing it incorrectly. So this should be exciting and interesting so I can learn how to correctly say these. But I do feel like if I said the German brands the correct way on my day-to-day life, people would be confused by what I'm saying. So possibly, maybe I can start just educating other Americans on the proper way to say them. Appreciate you guys stopping in and watching me learn that I've been saying everything completely wrong my whole life. Hit the like button, subscribe, and let's go.
Hey, have you seen my Adidas shoes? Your what shoes? Adidas, the brand? Oh, Adidas. Not sure. Maybe
Adidas? She did a good job with layover here.
Adidas, the brand? Oh, Adidas. Not sure. Maybe you've left them in the car?
Adidas.
Oh, and your friend's Volkswagen? Huh? Volkswagen?
I guess that's why she put them in the thumbnail. I'm like, first, two things that I say, Adidas and Volkswagen, or Adidas. Adidas? Is it Adidas or Adidas?
Adidas, the brand? Oh, Adidas.
Adidas.
Not sure. Maybe you've left them in the car? Oh, and your friend's Volkswagen? Huh? Volkswagen, the car brand? It's a German car brand. You should know that. Oh, VW. Okay.
What?
You should know that. Oh, VW. Okay.
I'm gonna have to hear her say that one again. Fovea.
Hello, servus, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Felicia. I'm originally from Munich, Germany, but have been living here in Cincinnati, Ohio, on and off since 2016.
Okay.
So a little
Cincinnati.
update before I get into the topic. I had my wrist surgery last Tuesday. Everything went well and my insurance approved it, so they're fully paying for it, which is great. I was pretty knocked out afterwards for a few days, but I'm doing better every day, and today is the first time that I thought I would try to record something, as you can see. I'm having my first follow-up appointment in 4 days, and as promised, there will be another video about this topic in a few weeks. But a few weeks ago, before I broke my wrist, I made a video about mistakes that many Germans make when speaking English, and a lot of you guys asked me to make a video the other way around about mistakes that non-native speakers make in German, and that's definitely going to come, but there's actually a very similar topic that I've been wanting to cover for a while, so that's what I'll talk about today. German brand names that English native speakers often pronounce very differently than we do in Germany, and some of these brands you may not even realize that they're German. So I made a list of 15 German brand names that are typically mispronounced.
15 German brands. Yeah, the only two is the ones, like, that's the only two that, what's another two?
Let's jump into our German brand names. First, of course, we have to talk about car brands, because German cars are being sold all over the world. They're famous all over the world, and a lot of people talk about them or even own a German car.
She speaks really good English for being like a native original German speaker. That's good. You can kind of tell a little bit when she like drops her words, but it's good.
The first one is Audi. Most Americans that I know pronounce it like I just said it, Audi. In German, we say Audi, Audi, and there's actually...
We say Audi. I've never heard anyone call it Audi. It's Audi. That's what we say. Okay, all right. I wonder if it's just from what state I grew up in, but we've always said Audi.
Actually, a funny story as to where this name came from. In 1904, a guy called August Horch founded a car company called A. Horch und Company, Motorenwarenwerke Zwickau, but a few years later, he left the company and founded a new one. But he wasn't allowed to call it Horch again, and since that's not only his last name, but also means listen in the imperative form, he ended up translating it into Latin, and that's Audi. So Audi means listen. The company is located in Ingolstadt in Bavaria.
I just love
Then,
the
of
German
course,
language.
one of the most famous car brands in the world is this one. It's located in Stuttgart, Germany. I've heard Americans pronounce it Porsche or Porsche.
Porsche.
In German, we say Porsche. So there's like this short E sound in the end. Porsche. It was founded Porsche. So there's like
Porsche. I can't do it.
Porsche or Porsche. In German, we say Porsche. So there's like this.
It sounds like she has an N on the end of it, like portion. But I know she's just dragging the A, but that's what it sounds like, at least to me. Or, you know what else people say is Porsche. Maybe that's where Americans are trying to say it correctly. Instead of Porsche, they're going Porsche, but they're not quite getting down the A sound like she does.
Porsche. So there's like this
Porsche.
short A sound in the end. Porsche. It was founded by Ferdinand Porsche in 1931 as a company for vehicle development work and consulting. And one of the first assignments that the company had was from the Nazi government at the time to design a car for the general public, which was what later would become Volkswagen. And so they designed the Volkswagen Beetle, the VW Käfer. This one sounded super funny to me when I first heard how people pronounce it in English.
Mercedes-Benz.
I actually used to drive one back in Germany. So most Americans call this Mercedes. In German, we pronounce it Mercedes. So Mercedes versus Mercedes. Mercedes. So Mercedes versus Mercedes.
Mercedes. I'm not doing it right.
Mercedes. So it's really
Mercedes.
pretty different. And the full name, of course, is
huge,
Mercedes-Benz. I've also heard that in England, people also refer to Mercedes as Merc. A German will not know what you're talking about if you say that, just for your information. Originally, it was just the company Daimler
Merc?
referred to Mercedes as Merc.
Trying to think if I've heard anyone say Merc. Sometimes people, maybe like the black culture in America might call it a Merc, but yeah.
German will not know what you're talking about if you say that, just for your information. Originally, it was just the company Daimler Motorengesellschaft, founded in 1890. The name Mercedes was added later, inspired by a Daimler car dealer called Emil Jelinek, who was also driving car races under the alias Monsieur Mercedes, which was based on his daughter's first name.
It sounds like, even when I'm trying, like, I can kind of get close to the way that she's saying Mercedes. Probably not still. You guys are probably like cracking up at me right now, but the way that Germans speak, it's like in the back of their like mouth or like almost in their throat, the way that they talk.
Mercedes Jelinek. The name was later also used for one of the car models in the year 1900 and then eventually became the name of the brand itself. This one simply has 3 letters, but of course they're pronounced differently in English and in German. In English, people say
BMW.
BMW. In German, we say BMW because W is pronounced W in German, and it stands for Bayerische Motorenwerke, which means Bavarian Engine Works. And of course, BMW is located in my hometown, Munich, which is the capital of Bavaria. The company was founded in 1916 and originally mainly produced aircraft engines. It's said that the logo represents a plane propeller.
Really quick, if I say BMW to someone instead of BMW, they're not going to know what the hell I'm talking about. They'll be like, what did you just say?
And it also has the colors of Bavaria, blue and white, to show the company's origin. Then after World War I, they survived by producing motorcycle engines, farm equipment, household items, and railway brakes, and built their first motorcycle in 1923, and then became a car manufacturer a few years later. They then went back to concentrating on aircraft engines again during World War II, using forced labor from prisoners in concentration camps, and didn't get back into car manufacturing until 1952. Overall, all of these German car brands that I just mentioned are more or less considered luxury brands in the US. I mean, Porsche, of course, is considered a luxury brand in Germany as well, but Audi, Mercedes, and BMW are pretty much just regular car brands to us. Obviously, they do have expensive luxury cars as well.
If you see someone driving like I'm just gonna say it the way that we say it. If you see someone driving a BMW or a Mercedes around here, usually it's an inclination that they have a good amount of money, like they're doing well, or they're faking it, one or the other. But it's kind of like a show off if you buy one of those cars. I know because when I was 23 years old, 24 years old, after I started my first business, I just finally started making a little bit of money, and I bought like a used old BMW, and it was like the base model, but I was like, oh, I want this, until I figured out how much it cost to replace a headlight on it, and I sold it immediately.
But the regular models are driven by people from all social classes in Germany. English speakers call this Volkswagen, while in Germany we usually just call it VW, VW, VW. But even if we did go by the full name, it would be pronounced Volkswagen and not Volkswagen. So just imagine.
Wait, so if a W is kind of like a V sound, then a V sound is kind of like a F sound? Am I getting that correctly?
VW, this Volkswagen, while in Germany we usually just call it VW, VW, VW. But even if we did go by the full name, it would be pronounced Volkswagen and not Volkswagen. So just imagine that it was spelled with an F and V instead.
Yes.
Volkswagen. This literally means people's car or car of the people. And it was founded during the Third Reich in the late 1930s because Hitler wanted to have a car that was affordable for middle class.
Third car brand from the Third Reich. Was Mercedes? I don't think she said Mercedes was, but
Germans, and that met the needs of an average family. So this was his attempt to make cars something that wasn't only available to upper class people, but to the general public. And the company is based in Wolfsburg. Now let's move on to something other than cars. So this is one of the brands where when I heard Americans say this for the first time, I didn't understand at all what they were referring to because they usually pronounce it Adidas. And in Germany, we say Adidas. 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 Super different.
I like that better. I like Adidas better than Adidas. Adidas. It sounds, it like rolls off the tongue much better.
The second largest sportswear manufacturer in the world after Nike, and I don't think that a lot of people know that this is a German company. It also has an interesting backstory. It was founded by Adolf Dassler, whose nickname was Adi, so the brand name is based on his first and last name. Adidas. He founded the company at his mother's house after he returned from World War I, and he actually played a big role in developing spiked running shoes. In 1924, his brother Rudolf joined the company, and they founded the Dassler Brothers Shoe Factory. But they later got into a fight, split up, and his brother actually founded his own company called Puma, which became the biggest rival of Adidas.
No way. I didn't know that.
Both Adidas and Puma are German brands. Another shoe manufacturer that many Germans would probably consider very, very German. Like if you talk about something typically German, Birkenstock is definitely going to be mentioned. But of course, this brand is known all over the world nowadays, and it's natural that people pronounce it with their native accent. So English speakers usually say Birkenstock. In German, we say Birkenstock. Birkenstock, Birkenstock, which literally translates to
I can't do it.
birch
The way that
stick.
she like drops it in the back, like it's up in the top of her mouth, the way that she does that sound.
Birkenstock, Birkenstock, which literally translates to birch stick.
I can't try that.
The roots of the company go all the way back
it.
to the 18th century, by the way. From shoes to alcohol, this is pronounced Jägermeister in German. Jägermeister. English speakers usually say Jägermeister, which is pretty much the same, just with a pretty thick accent. And people also often use the abbreviation Jäger.
Me and Jägermeister, back in high school, we were good friends.
Jäger, please. It literally means hunt master. Jäger is the hunter and Meister is master, and it's a German herbal liquor. This is a German grocery store. You can also find them in other European countries, and they even have some stores in the US. I usually get the majority of my groceries at Aldi here in the US. In Germany, we call stores like Aldi or Lidl discounters because they sell groceries for very low prices. In English, people usually pronounce this Aldi. I think I've also heard Aldi before, but I think most people say Aldi. Or they also sometimes add an S that isn't there in the end and say Aldis. In German,
oh, well, that's if you're referencing. Yeah, I could see why most people would do that. Like, are you going to Aldi's? But it's just Aldi. It's singular. There's one store. But Aldi's is, you say the same thing with, you know, any other store that you're going to, adding an S to it.
Just say Aldi. It has its origins in 1945. Aldi's. In Germany, we just say Aldi. It has
It's like a silent L in it.
Say Aldi's. In Germany, we just say Aldi. It has its origins
Aldi.
in 1945 when the two brothers Theo and Karl Albrecht took over their mother's corner store and came up with the concept of having a small selection while having low prices. The name Aldi comes from Albrecht Discount, so Albrecht, which is their last name, discount. In Germany, we have Aldi Süd and Aldi Nord, Aldi South and Aldi North. Again, this is because of two brothers splitting up into two different businesses. In the US, the store is simply called Aldi, and it actually belongs to Aldi South, while the store Trader Joe's belongs to Aldi North.
No freaking way. Trader Joe's is a German company? I did not know that. I had an idea that Aldi was, just because I remember when they first came over here into the States, everyone was saying it was a German company, German grocery store. I know she said there's not a lot. They're literally everywhere now. There's one in every decently sized city.
Trader Joe's belongs to Aldi North.
Trader Joe's is way better than Aldi.
Now let's move on to cosmetics. Nivea is a German brand from Hamburg that's mainly known for its face lotion in the little blue container, but of course they offer a large variety of products nowadays. Again, I find the English pronunciation pretty funny here. English native speakers usually say Nivea. Yep. In German, we say Nivea. Nivea.
You know what's crazy is that they actually pronounce them with the English version in like advertising. So if you see an ad for Nivea, they say Nivea in the ad. It's kind of crazy. You think they would like try and correct it, but I guess they're trying to make it easier for, you know, each person in that country to say it easier for them. I just said easy twice in a row.
So the emphasis is on the E. Nivea. This is a German hair cosmetics brand that you can find all over the world pretty much. In German, we pronounce it Schwarzkopf, which literally means black head. Schwarzkopf. English native speakers usually pronounce...
Wait, I don't think I've ever even said this name before. I would pronounce it Schwarzkopf. Schwarzkopf.
Pronounce it Schwarzkopf or Schwarzkopf or something along those lines. Deutsche Bank is the largest bank in Germany. Deutsche Bank also literally means German bank. Of course, you can find Deutsche Bank not only in Germany, but in other countries as well. A good friend of mine here in Cincinnati actually just did an internship with them in their New York City location. And she's also going to start a full-time job with them soon. And Americans usually pronounce it Deutsche Bank or something along those lines. And my friend always uses the abbreviation Deutsch when she refers to it. So like she said, I got a job offer from Deutsch, which is just really funny to me because that literally just means German. This is a German manufacturer of high-end domestic appliances, and it's not exactly pronounced...
Never heard of this one either. I'm not too sure. Melly?
English, but English native speakers usually say something like Miele. So it usually sounds more like an A in the end, whereas in German we say Miele. Miele. So the last letter is just a little bit different. And Miele really does stand for quality. If you invest in a Miele dishwasher or washing machine, you just know that it's going to be a good product and it's going to last.
Nice.
This is something that everyone knows and loves.
I always thought this was a Spanish brand. Like Haribo, I thought it was Mexican. Oh my god, I should have known from Gold Baron at the bottom of it, but
hopefully. Maybe not everyone knew that Haribo is actually German. We pronounce it Haribo. Haribo. And again, the name originates in the name of the founder of the company, which was Hans Riegel, and he was from the city of Bonn in Germany. So Hans Riegel from Bonn, and he always took the first two letters, put them together, and it became Haribo. Hans Riegel Bonn. Haribo.
Okay.
And last but not least, let's talk about a company that is not doing super well during these times, but it's one of the largest companies in Germany and second largest airline in Europe.
I have to try. I've done it this whole time. Lufthansa. Lufthansa? But I'm guessing she's going to say oof. No, I'm not going to do it.
And maybe you've flown with them before. In English, people usually say Lufthansa, but in German, we say Lufthansa. So the emphasis is on the first syllable, Lufthansa versus Lufthansa.
All right.
And that was the last brand name on my list. So now, of course, I want to know from you guys which of these brand names you've always mispronounced.
Sweet. All right, that was really good. A lot of brands that I knew that I've seen before, a couple of brands that I didn't even know were German, and a lot of brands that I've never heard of, but I guess the only one that what was the one that I got correct? Or like I was kind of close on. There was one of them. Most of them though are like way off. Fascinating video. Absolutely loved it. So if you guys enjoyed, hit the like button on your way out, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.